You're listening to the Packernet Podcast Network.
U.S. Cellular has noticed the way we use our phones has gotten ironic. We try to put our phones down for dinner, but the menu's on a QR code. That's ironic. We hit like on social posts that we don't actually like, which is ironic. Which is why U.S. Cellular created Us Mode, to help us reconnect with each other and use our phones less ironically. A phone company wanting people to use their phones less is ironic. Let's find us again with Us Mode from U.S. Cellular. Visit uscellular.com/built-for-us to get started.
The NFL season is finally here, so make sure you're ready with NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV. It gives you the most live NFL games all in one place, exactly what you need to make your Sundays more magical. Sign up today at youtube.com/Sunday Ticket. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games excludes digital-only games.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Packernet Podcast. I am your host and resident panelist, as always, Ryan Schlip. Check us out online, packernet.com. Find me on Twitter, pack_data. Well, there are PFF grades and all that good stuff, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Sunday football happened, and I feel like we should talk about it because it's funny. It's funny. What do you mean? The Bears won. Guess who doesn't care? This guy. All right? The Detroit Lions game is on right now as we speak. Actually, I should probably turn it on so I can watch it. 3-3, 12-17 left in the second. It's been on for a while. Dang, I wasn't paying attention. I've been trying to dunk on the Bears all day. I've been having so much fun. Bears fans are getting so mad, but I don't care. Again, it doesn't. We'll get into it. It's week one. It doesn't matter. But I know it doesn't matter, and I know that if I say it, even though it doesn't matter, they're going to get really mad, and so I just keep doing it. I think that's literally the definition of a troll, which is what I exactly am when it comes to messing with Bears fans. What am I talking about? Well, we'll get there. Let's go through some of the things that happened, at least that I'm aware of. Again, there's one game going live. But things didn't necessarily go great. For example, Minnesota Vikings beat the living crap out of the New York Giants. I said the Vikings would win, kind of hoping it wouldn't be a 28-6 drubbing. Fortunately, I do think it had more to do with the Giants sucking, but the Vikings did look pretty good. I didn't watch the whole game, but all the highlights I saw, it was just a very clear, this is the good team and this is the bad team. That was pretty clear. Hoping for the Giants to sneak one out there. New Orleans, I kind of wanted to lose because I figure if there's any team that's going to be vying for a playoff spot, probably New Orleans, definitely not Carolina. Although it's possible Carolina's quarterback could take a step. That was, bro, he took a step, all right. That dude took a giant leap backwards, and I didn't even know that was possible. He's one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen in my life, and that's saying something, dude. I mean, Rosen was garbage. This guy, wow. Number one pick. Might go down as the worst number one pick of all time. 47-10, so that didn't go out the way I was hoping. Miami and Jacksonville was kind of a unimportant game as far as being a Packer fan. However, Tyreek Hill got arrested, and that was funny. Houston and Indy doesn't super matter. However, next week we are playing the Indianapolis Colts. I have to look at it a little bit closer, but it is interesting when you look at the quarterback for the Colts, Richardson. Name is escaping me, but something Richardson, Anthony Richardson. Some of the best highlights, I think, this entire week are going to be Anthony Richardson, which sucks. Dude has a cannon, and we knew that. We know the guy's got a strong arm, but I'm talking 70 yards through the air type of cannon. Absolute athletic freak, the whole thing. So we're not going to be able to escape that defensively. He's mobile. That's going to be a thing for another week. But otherwise, he kind of sucked a little bit. I mean, it was very up and down. You look at the highs were very high. He did have a 101.2 passer rating, but was just 9 of 19, 212 yards. He had 2 60-yard passes, 50-yard, 60-yard, whatever, to Pierce, the guy that we all kind of wanted in Green Bay. Said he reminded us all of Jordy, so that was hard to watch. 2 touchdowns and a pick. Not going to have a lot of these advanced stats, which will be interesting to look at, especially as we get into this week, looking ahead to the Colts. The NFL Pro thing is absolutely fantastic. I'm excited to continue to dig into that. Alec Pierce, by the way, 3 targets, 3 receptions, 125 yards and a touchdown. But I'm hoping it's just like a more athletic but less talented Jalen Hurts, I guess, is what we're going up against. Either way, the Colts did lose, so that's promising, although it was the Houston Texans who are potential Super Bowl caliber team, and it was actually really close. So that's kind of scary, but we'll deal with that. Cincinnati did lose to New England. I haven't even looked at what bets I made, but I know that was a bet. I had New England to cover. They actually won 16-10. What else we got here? Buffalo did beat Arizona. Buffalo's terrible in week 1, but they snuck out a win after Arizona was beating the crap out of them. Buffalo came charging back, which is a good thing. Again, Arizona's kind of one of those bubble teams where it's like because I'm thinking long term. When we get to like week 17, it's always a battle. Unless you're a 14-win team, it's a huge battle. It's a question of, are we going to get into the playoffs? And that's going to come down to teams like Arizona, teams like New Orleans, teams like Atlanta. These are the kind of teams you're looking at where it's like, man, you really want them to lose. So that did go in our favor. Speaking of Atlanta, Pittsburgh beat them 18-10. Kirk Cousins, let me look at his stats actually here. Every time I watched that game, I was really surprised at how not good he looked. He was 16 of 26 for 155 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, 59 passer rating. I mean, it's easy to get high on Atlanta because you're like, hey, they got all this talent. They're just missing a quarterback. You take Cousins, who was always pretty good in Minnesota, and you put him in there, and 59 passer. When was the last time he had a game this bad? Like in his career, he wasn't this bad in Washington. Might be a fluke, but it also might just be another disaster. And maybe the quarterback wasn't the problem in Atlanta. They need to figure something else out. It's just a garbage team to have bad play calling, whatever. I don't know. What else we got going on here? Let's hit the old next button. Denver, Seattle. I don't care. Seattle, it's funny because one of the things that kind of helps to calm down me and probably other Packer fans is the fact that there was a lot of ugly. And I was just talking about the ugly with my half-Mexican attorney, and as I was talking to him about it, Seattle's first pass was a pick. It's like, yeah, that's just how that goes. Chargers beat the Raiders. Tampa beat Washington. Dallas beat the ever-loving daylights out of Cleveland. None of that is necessarily a big deal. Dallas, you obviously wanted to lose. That was never close. It's another thing I mentioned on yesterday's very abbreviated podcast. I also realized I released one like the day before, and I never hit the publish button. So the last 2 have just been like, why are you disappearing? It's game time. I am not. It's just everything's going wrong. You can go back and find that if you thought I just didn't publish one. I just did it very late and whatever. I had mentioned on that podcast, I was surprised that I think Dallas was favorited, but not by very much, or maybe they were even under. I don't know, but I was kind of shocked because I'm like, Dallas is a good team. Cleveland's garbage. I don't understand. Let's look at Minnesota real quick. Just pull up some of the stats. Go over to the box score here. Minnesota Vikings. So Sam Darnold was 19 of 24, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick, 113.2 passer rating. I mean, aside from the pick, you got to feel pretty good about that performance, I would assume. Aaron Jones looked good, 14 attempts, 94 yards, 1 touchdown. That's 6.7 yards per attempt. 19 yards was his longest. Aaron Jones having a good day. It was sad, but also it was good to see him, but it's like, man, it's sad that it's the Vikings, but what are you going to do? Justin Jefferson, 4 receptions, 59 yards, and a TD. Addison, 3 receptions, 35 yards. I want to talk real quick about the Chicago Bears. Because it's a big deal, right? The Vikings, we kind of know what the Vikings are. The Lions, we kind of know what the Lions are. Vikings are not where they need to be. We'll see about next year. Lions, they're certainly NFC North contenders, probably winners depending on how things go here. Hopefully they lose this game. That would be pretty massive. If we both start 0-1, we're still keeping pace here. But Chicago's a big one because if Caleb Williams is a Pat Mahomes, we are in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. That's scary. If Caleb Williams is a garbage quarterback, this is going to be the greatest thing ever. It's going to be the greatest thing of all time. Bears fans will implode. This podcast is going to be the best place on the planet to be. On the planet. There's nowhere else you'd rather be. I promise you. This is going to be the place you're going to want to be. Unfortunately for us, Bears fans have been begging and begging and begging for history to not repeat itself, and that's exactly what happened. The Chicago Bears had a historic performance from their quarterback, something that has rarely been done, not just by the Chicago Bears and all their terrible quarterbacks, by any quarterbacks in NFL history, what he was able to do. Really, really incredible stuff. So I want to go through and look at this historic performance by the Chicago Bears quarterback. It's hard to get the words out, but it is what it is, man. We got to face reality. Chicago Bears did win the game 24-17. That's after being down 17-0. Obviously, this massive surge of Chicago Bears point scorers just coming through, man. So let's talk about Caleb a little bit. Got this little nugget here from NFL.com Next Gen Stats. Caleb Williams struggled in his first career start, completing just 14 of 29 passes for 93 yards and a negative 16.1% CPOE. Now, if you remember, CPOE is completion percentage over expected. This is a stat that you heard probably a lot last year because it was thrown in Jordan Love's face. Essentially just means there's a completion percentage that we would expect you to hit based on the circumstances, right? So you got a clean pocket, you got a guy with X amount of separation, that's a throw that you should be able to make. Where are you at as far as completions above or below what is expected? He is 16.1% lower, which is funny because, again, all the people making excuses come out, well, it's because of this, it's because of that. No. Based on expectations of your specific situation, you are 16.1% worse as far as completions are concerned. Can I just read that again, by the way? Kind of glossed over it because of the CPOE, stat. 14 of 29 for 93 yards. Not 193, not 393, just 93. We continue reading. Williams was ineffective when holding onto the ball for longer than 2.5 seconds, going 3 for 13. Also interesting that 13 of his attempts were essentially him holding onto the ball, trying to make plays, because that's what he did in college, and now he's in the pros, and it doesn't quite work that well. But anyways, ineffective when holding onto the ball for longer than 2.5 seconds. He was 3 for 13, which is 23%, for 34 yards. The 2024 first overall pick failed to complete any of his 5 pass attempts over 15 air yards in his debut. In fact, not sure if the stats are up or how they all get organized, but I can see it. They got the little diagram here. There were, one pass that was about 11 yards. I think that was probably his longest completion. He had 3 passes at around the 10-yard mark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of his passes, which is 50%, are below 5 yards. 7 of his 14 passes were less than 5 yards. In fact, 5, which is more than 1/3 of his passes, were behind the line of scrimmage. Look, it's entirely possible Caleb could be a good quarterback still. Right, I've talked about this with Trubisky and Justin Fields, and I will say it again with Caleb. Every single time the dude steps on the field, it's like, oh no, is this the day? I said it with Trubisky. Is this the day he's going to break out? Is this the year he's going to break out? And I'll go through that again with Caleb, and I'll go through it again with their next one. It's like Stanley with his wives, right? I said it to my first wife, said it to my last wife, said it to my current wife, and I'll say it to my next one too. But let me tell you one thing I'm absolutely certain of. The Chicago Bears do not trust Caleb Williams. They recognize he is not a good quarterback right now. This is evidenced by 2 very obvious things. Number one, was it their GM? I think it was the GM. I don't know if it was Pace or maybe it was the owner of the Bears. It was one of the two. Came out right before the first week and said, I hope the fans realize that there's going to be some hiccups and that there's still growth that's needed, et cetera. That is what you say when your guy's not ready yet. And granted, a lot of times guys aren't ready week one. Sometimes they are, though. Pretending that this is just always the way it goes is completely false. A lot of times, good players are just good pretty much from the start. At the very least, they're not garbage from the start, right? I mean, Jordan Love was bad from the start, right? But he didn't get thrown into the fire and ruined like a lot of other quarterbacks. Anyways, the second thing that is very obvious is they didn't trust Caleb. It looked almost identical to the way they ran their offense with Justin Fields. And it's not because they have the same offensive coordinators and everything, and they have the same offensive philosophies. This is about, we're going to run the ball, we're going to win with defense and special teams, run the ball, and ask Caleb to do as little as possible. We're going to run very simple concepts, very close to the line of scrimmage, and we're going to try to see if he can make these simple reads and get the ball out quickly and accurately to these extremely gifted wide receivers who hopefully can kind of bail him out if there's any issues here or there. Almost every completion I saw was some kind of a quick out, screen pass, something of that sort. That's it. But let's zero in on this for a moment because I know for a fact we used to make fun of Justin Fields' inability to get to 200 yards, which, by the way, real quick here, the Bears have never had a 4,000-yard passer, correct? 4,000 divided by, there's now 17 weeks, so it's easier than ever. You need to average 235 to get to 4,000. Now, as a Packer fan, you look at that and go, that's certainly doable, right? Not automatic, but 235 is decent. Like 300 is a real good game. 200 is okay. Anything under than that, you feel pretty sad about it. Justin Fields, a pretty standard day was like 150, right? So we make fun of him. Ha, ha, ha. When Caleb threw for 93 yards, I was kind of shocked, and I was like, did Justin even do that? Under 100 is kind of a big deal. You know what I mean? And, of course, the problem is that there's going to be games here and there. Justin threw for like 60 yards one time, but he only threw 17 times because he got injured in that game. So I said, let's be more specific. I want to know, in fact, let's just look at the Packers' history here. I want to know how many times, or the last time, and I assumed it was probably Rodgers at some point, or Love maybe had a bad game or something, at least 29 attempts, because 29 attempts is a decent chunk of throws. 29 attempts, 29 times you tried to push the ball down the field with your unbelievably gifted arm, and you were only able to manage 93 or less yards. I found that interesting and intriguing. And so when I looked at that from the Packers standpoint, I found something quite interesting, actually. That interesting thing, I will tell you right after the break. I gotcha. Oh, it's been like 7 years. I've never done that right, and I freaking got you, didn't I? Yeah, I did. You probably already know what it is, but that's fine. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Kick off the 2024 football season with Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. It's the easiest way to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch your winnings roll in. This September, get automatic win every week by picking Caleb Williams to get just 1 passing yard. That's right, 4 weeks of free wins, but only if you jump on it before September ends. And don't forget, you can win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks even has injury insurance, so if your player leaves the game early, you're still in the game. I've been loving Prize Picks, my go-to for simple, fast, and fun fantasy action. When my picks hit, I get paid in as little as 15 minutes. Download Prize Picks now and use code PACKDADDY to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code PACKDADDY for $50 guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Remember, Prize Picks is a skill-based fantasy game, making your lineups just got a whole lot more exciting. U.S. Cellular has noticed the way we use our phones has gotten ironic. We try to put our phones down for dinner, but the menu's on a QR code. That's ironic. We hit like on social posts that we don't actually like, which is ironic. Which is why U.S. Cellular created Us Mode, to help us reconnect with each other and use our phones less ironically. A phone company wanting people to use their phones less is ironic. Let's find us again with Us Mode from U.S. Cellular. Visit uscellular.com/built-for-us to get started.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
When it comes to towing, seeing is believing. That's why Chevy Truck's advanced camera technology offers up to 8 available cameras for 14 unique views, so you can focus on the view that really matters. Chevrolet, together let's drive. Learn more about Chevy Trucks at Chevy.com. Safety or driver assistance features are no substitute for the driver's responsibility to operate the vehicle in a safe manner. Read the Vehicle Owner's Manual for important feature limitations and information.
All right, so again, I'm asking 93 yards or less on 29 attempts or more. Turns out Jordan Love has never done it. Aaron Rodgers in his entire career has never had a game that bad. Just with those two statistics. I won't say that bad, depends how you gauge it, but it's an impressive statistic to try 29 times and not be able to cross a 100-yard mark, right? All right, well, Brett Favre, he's had some pretty rocky games, right? Nope. Brett Favre never threw the ball 29 or more times and managed 93 or less yards, ever. So of all of our premier quarterbacks, and we can even throw Jordan in that mix because he's seemingly that dude, and if he wasn't, well, he probably had some bad days. We've had 3 now, real top-tier quarterbacks. Never have they had a day that bad. You have to go back. In fact, let me find the date to see exactly what my age was. 10/30/1988. I was 1 year old, about to turn 2 in 1 month. I was 1 year and 11 months old on the dot when Don the Magic Man Majkowski threw exactly, by the way, 93 yards on 29 attempts. Real rough day for the Magic Man. It was against Buffalo. The Packers lost 28-0, which, by the way, that's usually how the games go when you're that dog crap terrible. Usually those kinds of things happen in 28-0 blowouts. You got bailed out, Caleb, Mr. Well, never mind. I want to verify that first. 3 losses, but shoot, I gave it away. Never mind, you didn't hear that. Usually that's how it goes when you don't get bailed out by a terrible Tennessee Titans team and your defense and special teams. Every single one of these points by the Bears, by the way, came on the back of one of those things. We'll get into that in a minute. Continuing. Do you know the time before that? Because, there was not a lot of throwing, and when there was throwing, it wasn't very good. Back in the day, I mean, this game has been going on since, a long time, and it looked ugly. You ever watch some of those games? It looked pretty bad. So there must be just a ton from the 60s, the 50s, the 40s, the 30s, friggin', 1821, somewhere somebody had a thing that looked like a ball and was trying to throw. There's got to be a ton of times. Before 1988, the last time was 1951, when Tobin Rote threw the ball 33 times for, how many yards? Where did it go? 88 yards. 33 for 88 yards with a touchdown and 2 picks. Before that, 1949, when Jug Gerard, one of the two, threw the ball 30 times for 80 yards. Before that, 0 instances. 3 times ever in Green Bay Packers history has something like this ever been accomplished. Caleb Williams has done something that no Packers quarterback since Don Majkowski has been able to accomplish. And I think that's something to be proud of. I think that's something that they should really, really, really get excited about. And then I asked the question, well, freaking forget about the Packers, because, you know, if it's only 3 for the Packers, how many times has this happened? And maybe there would have been hundreds, because you got the Bears are garbage and Cleveland and all these different teams that are really bad. But I'm like, let's just find out. Do you know how many times prior to this performance today this has ever been done? 45. 45. This will be the 46th time. 45 times in NFL history has somebody thrown a ball 29 times and managed to throw for less than 94 yards, less than 100 yards, basically. And by the way, only 4 times prior to today did that culminate into a win. Frank Trupica in 1949 for the Detroit Lions beat the New York, what team is this? New York Bulldogs. I'm sorry, I need a minute. Oh, I'm okay. Frank Trupica, 1949, the Lions beat the Bulldogs 28-7. Now we got old Vince Evans, 81 Bears. Second time now for the Bears. NFC North seems to do this against the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm presuming that was their name at the time, yeah. 16-13 in overtime. 2001, Brad Johnson, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, beat the Baltimore Ravens 22-10. And then Ron Jaworski, Philadelphia Eagles, beat the Dallas Cowboys. 4 times in NFL history, quarterback has been that garbage. And was able to pull off the victory thanks to everybody else except them. I think there were more instances of 0. There were more instances of 0 points than there were actual wins. Incredible. Historic. Truly, truly, truly historic performance by Caleb Williams, who did what not even Mitch Trubisky and Caleb and Justin Fields could do. Even they couldn't pull off something like this. 29 attempts, 93 yards. It's truly incredible. You say, well, the offense must have done something well because they got to 24 points. Let's look at every single one of their scoring drives, which, by the way, 5 unanswered scores. Way to go, you frickin' jag-off Tennessee Titans. Cairo, the first points, Cairo Santos made a 24-yard field goal. Well, that's pretty close. So how did they get up that close? They must have drove all the way down the field to get it up so close. So Caleb must have done something right. 9 plays, 28 yards. They only had to move 28 yards, which means they started all the way down in Tennessee Titans territory. Okay, what about the other one? A block kick recovered by Jonathan Owens and scored a touchdown. So there you go. Then you have the best drive the Chicago Bears had all day. 11 plays, 44 yards, which was just enough for Cairo Santos to make a 50-yard field goal. Then Cairo Santos made a 48-yard field goal. Was it another 44-yard drive? No. It was 4 plays, 1 yard. 1 yard. And they managed to, they could have gone backwards and still made a field goal. Then Tyreek Stevenson, 43-yard interception return. And then Caleb Williams converted a 2-point conversion to DeAndre Swift when Tennessee completely left a guy wide open. I'm talking 0 people covered him on that side of the field. 0. Wide open. So, interception return, punt block return, a field goal made after the Bears moved 28 yards, a field goal made after the Bears moved 44 yards, and a field goal made after the Bears moved 1 yard. Because they just started in unbelievable... There's not one time they started at just a normal field position and even got into field goal range. The best they were able to do is move 44 yards, and it took them 11 plays to do it. And Cairo Santos had to bang a 50-yarder. Incredible. Truly incredible. 50-yard kick. And the Bears end up winning the game because Tennessee literally gifted them with a long kickoff return, a punt return, an interception return. It just handed them this football game. Incredible. But as disappointing as it is, I did say coming into this, the Bears would probably win. The Vikings would probably win. And so we're kind of right where I thought we would be. Let me check. How are the Lions doing? 10-3 halftime. Everything's pretty much where I thought it would be. And I also am much more skeptical of the Bears' ability to actually win football games against competent opponents. Now, with that said, solid special teams, potentially scary defense, we'll have to see. Again, it'd be nice to see him against a competent football team, see how that goes. But if that offense, in Caleb Williams in particular, does not get better, this team is going to be worse than they were with Justin Fields. Which is hilarious because when they drafted Justin Fields, they were shockingly worse than they were with Trubisky, which is just a hilarious cycle. We keep getting better and better quarterbacks and somehow keep getting worse and worse product. 19-yard sack, too, by the way. Then we've got one of the dumbest people in all of sports media, Skip Bayless, said, "Bear down, Chicago Bears. It wasn't always pretty for Caleb, who often played like a Game 1 rookie, but he did what it took to win. Coming from 17-0 down to pull it out 24-17, kid is going to be good." He put that in caps. I didn't just add that. He put that in caps. As he did, bear down, Chicago Bears. It's possible he just didn't watch the game. You throw up red zone. You see the team coming back. You see, the Bears, for example, they're in field goal range. You assume Caleb did that. Turns out he did not do that. But, if you're going to say things like he looked like a rookie but did what needed to be done, you're implying that you freaking watched him. And this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard because he didn't do jack squat in this entire game. Nothing. Nada. Zip. Zilch. Nada. Anyways, what else we got here? Let's rip through a couple other things. I know I mentioned it on Packernet After Dark, just in case I didn't, and you're not a Packernet After Dark listener. The latest on the Jordan Love situation, the Green Bay Packers apparently are very optimistic about the situation. It is a 3 to 6 week timetable for this generally, not specifically for Jordan, but we gauge it to be a grade 2 or whatever, which is 3 to 6 weeks. The Packers, however, via Ian Rappaport, believe it's going to be on the low end of the spectrum. The way it was phrased, too, and I don't know if I can find, I don't think I can. I didn't save it because I'm stupid. But the way he phrased it leads me to believe that there's a chance it could be sooner than 3 weeks. Maybe I'm just dreaming. I don't know. But I'm just saying, seems to be that might be a thing. Either way, the reason that came up, and this is kind of interesting, Diana Rossini put out this tweet. While there's no deal right now, the Green Bay Packers have reached out to free agent quarterback Ryan Tannehill, sources tell The Athletic. The former Titans quarterback told me in July for him to sign, it would have to be right situation. That was in quotes, which is interesting because that sentence is not correct, but maybe that's why you should put it in quotes because that's exactly what he said. However, that was responded to by, I forget who it was because I forgot to save that too, but Tom Pelissero, I think. Tom Pelissero fired back and said, nope, the Packers have not reached out to absolutely anybody, and they're actually not interested in signing anybody. They're preparing to to prepare Malik and the other guy, Sean Clifford, the Red Rocket. Sean Clifford for prep, which is interesting because we talk about Malik as though we know he's going to be the guy. We don't. We absolutely don't know that. In fact, they've explicitly said that it's possible that if we get into this situation, that Sean Clifford will be our quarterback. So just prepare yourself for that. Got a little update here from Jake Shavink on Twitter because I'm not actually watching the game. 3 tackles down, Steve Avila down, rookie center out there, Puka Nacua out. Rams might not score again tonight, so that sounds freaking brutal. I mean, it's good because the Rams are also kind of rivals, and them not being good is a good thing, but certainly would have been nice to see them beat the Lions. Not that was really expected. All right, why don't we just take our final break? We'll just kind of clean up the rest of what's going on. We'll focus tomorrow on PFF and some advanced stats. There are some really good things that I'm excited to get into. I just don't want it to be like a half a day thing because that's stupid, and I absolutely wanted to spend some time making fun of the Bears and specifically Caleb. You know how it goes. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. So first thing, I want to clear up something. I just actually came across this. I did not see this previously, but I want to clarify or correct one thing I said earlier, where we don't know who the starter is. According to Jay Glazer, we do know. Jay Glazer on Fox's NFL pregame show on Sunday said, quote, "In the meantime, Malik Willis will get the start," is an exact quote from Jay Glazer, who's actually a pretty solid insider. He goes on to say for the situation that it's about a 2 to 4 week injury, Glazer said. Matt LaFleur said, "We do want to be conservative with him, but much better news than it could have been." So again, it's one of those things where it's supposed to be 3 to 6, and the Packers apparently come out and they're like, yeah, more like 2 to 4 is what we're thinking. And even in that quote, Matt LaFleur is saying we want to be conservative. In other words, if we wanted to really rush the guy out there, possibly even sooner, but let's call it 2 to 4 weeks and see how it goes. I mean, it's just, again, it could end up being longer and it could be something's wrong, whatever, but it seems to be really trending in a very positive direction. Every time I hear about it, it's something new, and it's always in the direction of he's going to be back sooner. I mean, if it's 2 weeks, that's incredible. Meanwhile, in Cleveland, a new poll shows that most Cleveland Browns fans now want Deshaun Watson gone. It's funny for several reasons. Number one, it's actually funny that wasn't a thing at some point. And I understand, like, oh, this guy's elite, whatever, I don't care, we're going to win, I guess. But it is a little surprising that this is like a new thing, that apparently now they're done with him. And it's because he sucks at football, by the way. It's not like, you know what? No, I've decided that despite his talent, it's not really worth it. No. It's got nothing to do with it. This dude's trash and we want him gone. It's also funny because it's such a financial cluster, you know what? There's no way he's going anywhere. It's a fully guaranteed contract. It's not like, well, what's the contract? Has he burned through the guarantees? Maybe they can get out of his contract. There's no getting out of anything. It's fully guaranteed. Dude steps on the field, he's getting paid, period. He's not going anywhere. And his cap hit is stupid. It's stupid. No wonder they want him gone. Yeah, of course you do. Was it like $75 million and he plays terribly? No kidding, you want him gone. You need to take a poll for that? Bro, it's been 5 minutes and Packer fans want Halfley gone. And we're paying him $40. I also saw a clip. Probably an overblown thing. I don't know, but it was a clip of, I want to say it was like Joel Bitonio or something. It was one of the offensive linemen went down and Deshaun went to help him up. And he initially put his hand up and then it seemingly saw who it was and ripped his hand away, like, get away from me, and then helped himself up. Which, don't know if I've ever seen that before. A guy just refusing a teammate, helping him up, and then just does the whole awkward, like, fat dude, roll over, do a little push-up, get on your knees, like, try to stand up thing. That's what he elected to do rather than letting Deshaun Watson help him up. Apparently there were additional ongoing conversations about an 18-game regular season schedule. Man, I would expect this sooner than later. I mean, it's just it just keeps getting louder and louder. I mean, if I wasn't, I have a feeling he's pushing because he wants this next year, right? I mean, the CBA runs through 2030, but they can make changes. There just has to be agreements on both sides, which is hilarious because so does it have to be in the CBA too. It's not like they cram the CBA down, but now that it's in place, there has to be agreement. Like that's how the CBA works anyways. So the point of the CBA is kind of nonsense. But no, I mean, there's ongoing constant negotiation because I think he wants to get this done. And obviously taking one of the preseason games is basically a done deal. Possibly even adding another bye week, which would be kind of hilarious because we'd be deducting 1 week, but adding 2, presumably, because each team would get a bye week plus an additional week that they have to play. So adding 2 weeks of football, which please, Lord in heaven above, let that be a thing. Speaking of Roger Goodell, apparently the NFL sent out 20 warnings for players for player safety violations and sportsmanship violations. And the NFL is kind of getting ripped to shreds because it's like, bro, did you watch what you put these guys through in Brazil? And you're going to go out here and threaten these people for not being worried about safety? Come on, bro. Well, I'll tell you what, that's about all I got as far as the rest of the NFL news. So why don't we just go back to how we started this and make fun of Caleb Williams? The cough hasn't gone away, so I can't laugh too much. Oh, all right. So we'll just do what we usually do here. We'll continue. This is an article from Bear Report, 247sports.com. Bear Report is their Chicago Bears affiliate, whatever. I'm not going to read the article. Who gives a crap? The title, Caleb Williams criticized for atrocious debut in Chicago Bears season opener. See, here's the thing. Like, I don't even really know where, all right, at least I didn't know where Bears fans were at on this. I looked into it. Obviously, you're not super jacked about it. But as far as I know, Bears fans are like, oh, he looked elite. You just, you see those elite passes? I don't know. It's just the offensive line. When you come to a Bears website and they say Caleb criticized for atrocious debut, it's kind of like, oh, okay, maybe you might have known. I don't know. But why don't we just go ahead and tune in real quick? I found a couple different YouTube videos from some different, content creators. This is from Poop Analogy. He made a video. Let's see what he had to say.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams wasn't good today, so we mustn't admit that. So we was expecting more, but it is what it is. It's only his first game. Don't call him a bust. He's not a disappointment. It's just his first game, and this is, this is his first go around. There was a couple things that I thought that Caleb Williams could have done. Starting with the first quarter that he threw at the left wing and he missed Keenan Allen.
It was rough, bro. It was super rough. Let's tune into the woke sports fan to see what he has to say.
Caleb Williams today did not live up to the hype that y'all said he would do. Y'all told me Caleb Williams would come in and be a top 10 quarterback off bat. He was so much better than Justin Fields. Well, today showed Caleb Williams is not generational. Matter of fact, Caleb Williams is overrated.
Thank you, woke sports fan. Let's check in with Sports Talk with the GOAT, who is at the game and is extremely inebriated. Sounds like I'm inebriated. Let's see what he has to say.
Yeah! How about them Chicago Bears?
Hammered.
What a game. What a week one victory.
He's hammered.
I tell you what, I was at the Bears game today. It was the ugliest football game I've ever witnessed in my life. In person, on TV, high school, college, NFL. It was the ugliest game I've ever seen played, ever. But they found a way to win. The offense, atrocious, right? Caleb Williams did not do well today. He didn't do horribly. I told many people, Williams didn't lose us the game.
There you go. There's the winning banner we can hang. He didn't lose us the game because we won. Otherwise, he would have lost us the game, if we had lost. But we won, so he didn't lose us the game. So it's pretty good. Not bad. Could have been worse. All right, let's check in with In the Zoe Podcast, who has some thoughts on this game.
The Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams came out with a W, man, against the Tennessee Titans. And Caleb Williams is the first quarterback to go number 1 in NFL history to win his NFL first game of the season. But Caleb Williams needs to thank special teams, the defense, and a special shout-out should go out to Will Levis. Because that's the only reason Caleb Williams won this football game against the Tennessee Titans, man.
By the way, there's a big graphic on his screen right now that has Caleb Williams with the writing over it that says overrated.
Caleb Williams today was horrible, man. He was 14 for 29 with 93 passing yards, 0 touchdown, and 0 interception against a Tennessee Titan defense, man. People told me he had some Patrick Mahomes in him. Today, look like he had some Justin Fields in him, man. The Bears offense ain't do nothing today. The running game was a no-show. The passing game was a no-show. DJ Moore had 36 receiving yards. Keenan Allen had 29, and Rome Medusa had 11. DeAndre Swift had 30 yards rushing on the ground, and Caleb Williams only had 15. Caleb Williams had more tip passes than he did completions against the Tennessee Titans, man. He had more overthrows and underthrows than he did completions, man. Caleb Williams was inaccurate today. He ain't like he know what to do with the football. I ain't seen no wild plays. He did get up out the pocket on a few plays, but he ain't make no plays. He just ran out the pocket and threw the ball in the dirt like he playing baseball or something. Caleb Williams was not good today for the Chicago Bears, man. And the Bears fans were hyping this offense up all season long. They told me the Bears had the best wide receiver core in the NFC North. And today, look like the worst wide receiver core in the NFC North, man. Right next to the Green Bay Packers.
Hey, all right, anyways. That's okay. We don't need to go any further. Thank you, Zoen Podcast, for your report. Here's something a little different. This is Dre 2 Times, something like that. He's live watching this game here, or highlights or something. I don't know exactly what's going on. But he's not a fan of either, and he says he's going to follow the Bears because he wants to see Caleb go off.
Should be a real good game. I don't know who I'm going to go with, though, but I feel like I'm gonna go with the Bears just because I want to see that boy Caleb Williams go off, man. You know, this is debut. I expect him to get loose. We gonna see how it turn out, bro. I expect to cool at least like 3 touchdowns out of you, low key. You supposed to be baby Mahomes out here. Yeah. 3rd and 3 though. Williams throwing it deep. Hold on, Williams, and you overthrow him. All righty, you already selling, my boy. You already selling. 4th and 3, they going for it. Williams, hold on. It's nice completion, though. Okay, Williams, listen. Bears first down. That's a little better throw. You know, simple throw. Play action. Williams in trouble. Williams, he in mad trouble. He dodged the first sack. Williams, he's going down, though, that Titans defense in there. Oh,
that was the 19-yard sack, by the way.
Yeah, boy, outside of DJ Moore. 3rd and 4 right here. Williams throwing it. Hold on now. 1-on-1. And you overthrow it once again. Bro, I ain't going to lie. What you was doing before this game, bro? You had to be, you know what I'm saying? If you know, you know. You had to be. You had to be, bro. And then man straight caught it and then fumbled it. Crazy. Yeah, I ain't going to lie. Hey, you getting a lot of balls batted out here, Williams. I ain't going to lie. No diddy. You're getting a lot of balls batted out here, bro.
First to goal, 3 straight passes.
It's cool.
From multiple spots on the field.
Yeah, this debut looking kind of fook-line, my boy. I'm just keeping it a buck with you. You're looking kind of fook-line out here. You know, 3rd and 20, and you're going down, man. That Titans defense in there. Yeah, I don't want to say this game over with, but man, this is bad. That's right there, no diddy. 3rd and 2, you're fumbling the snap. Williams throwing it out there. Williams, hold on now, and you throw it way out of there once again for like the 4th time in this game. Okay. Yeah, that defense and that kicker is bailing you out right now, my boy. You is not looking good out here right now. I'm just keeping it a butt down while.
And then he gives the summary that every Packer fan watching that was saying and screaming at their television.
Don't lie, bro. Y'all sold majorly, boy. Y'all had them 17-0. Y'all sold. The Bears offense didn't even score one time. That man Williams had a Food Line debut. I ain't gonna lie. Terrible debut. I'm just keeping it a buck. But hey, that defense and the kicker bailed them boys out. They got the dub. Hope y'all boys enjoyed this.
Thank you for your report, Dre, 2 times. And then we got a quick report here from Brandon Jamal Crashout, Chicago Bears fan, wanting to know if he's excited. Let's find out.
People keep asking me, am I excited about the football season? No, I am not. My quarterback is wearing painted nails.
Thank you. Thank you for that report. We got Locked On Bears with whoever the Locked On Bears host is.
Everyone's going to talk about Caleb Williams' performance in his NFL debut. But the bigger story from the Chicago Bears' comeback win over the Tennessee Titans was all about the defense.
Well, that's obviously stupid. Chicago. Some people want to talk about the quarterback and whether we have a franchise quarterback, which has massive implications for the next 20 years in Chicago, 15, 10, whatever. But I think what's more important is that the defense played good for half of the game. Oh, yeah. Okay, Locked On Bears. Here is, by the way, Mark Sanchez and Adam Amin, I think is his name, I don't know, after the game, kind of giving their summary of things.
And of course, as we've seen so often in the city of Chicago, it's the defense, the special teams that helps carry the day for a young quarterback. So not the...
That is, by the way, the best part about all this. This is the same Bears. They're trying to rebuild the Bears. What did they do? They went out and drafted number 1 overall, one of the more promising, exciting quarterback prospects in the last however many years, right? One of them at least. They go out and get 3 wide receivers. 2 of them this past year, 1 of them 2 years ago. They go out and get a new running back in DeAndre Swift. They revamp the offense from top to bottom. And week 1, the offense struggles to do anything, and the defense and special teams carry them in an ugly victory. This is the same frickin' Bears as always. Finally, I just want to hear from Caleb Williams himself and his thoughts on the day and how he views these things.
You don't care about stats as long as you...
Yeah, don't care about stats. I feel great. I'll be honest with you. I feel great. I understand that obviously the stats weren't, where I wanted them to be, and things like that. Because I want to go out there and perform and to the best of my ability, and didn't do that today. And so, we're going to get better tomorrow. We got this little period, these next 15 hours or so.
Yeah. So, I just want to touch on that real quick. So, to be clear, he doesn't care about stats. He doesn't care about them. Okay. This is the same team, by the way, whose head coach made one of the dumbest speeches ever. That's just factually incorrect. Talking about winning isn't important. It's winning habits or something to that effect. It's just completely stupid. Or winning doesn't make you a winner. That's what it is. Winning habits make you a winner. It's like, no, that's factually incorrect. Now you got a guy saying, I don't care about stats. Now, certain contexts, maybe you can make an argument for it, but let's be very clear about this. He says, I don't care at all about stats. Then he says, obviously the stats aren't where I want them to be, which seems in and of itself contradictory. And then he specifically says the reason he wants the stats to be better is because he wants to be able to go out and perform at his best. So he's directly tying the stats to his performance, but also says, I don't care about the stats, which he tied to his performance. Which, if A plus B equals C, the whole thing, A equals C, B, A equals B, B equals C, whatever. Point is, he's saying he doesn't care about his performance. Not that that's actually true, because of course he does. It's just the fact that this bumper sticker bullcrap of I don't care about stats is incorrect. Not only just as far as natural law is concerned, that it's stupid to say that, as in it's just factually stupid no matter the circumstance. He just contradicted himself within 10 seconds of him saying, I don't care about stats. This franchise is filled with morons, and their quarterback sucks. You guys have a good rest of your night. I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye-bye.